Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Country with another song of Mutant Monday. Last week we had the first issue of 10 Lives of Wolverine, which features Wolverine time traveling in an effort to protect Charles Xavier from an assassination attempt and a time traveling assassin. That said, 10 Lives of Wolverine, much like House of X 2.5 years ago, has a companion, an alternating companion series, 10 Deaths of Wolverine, the first issue of which came out most recently. So, again, it's very in a similar manner to House of X and Powers of 10. You have a multitude of storylines going on. For example, 10 Deaths begins with basically at the point that the recently concluded Inferno miniseries ended. Moira McTaggart escaping from Krakoa through a gate, having just been turned human, and having her severed arm replaced via basically by techno-organic matter provided by Warlock. She runs through the gate, ends up in Scotland. She commandeers a truck full of goats and crashes it into the gate, basically to ensure that Mystique can't follow her through that gate, hoping that maybe it'll help her lose her trail. It'll help her hide her trail. Why is Moira on the run? Because it turns out that Moira's grand plan the entire time had absolutely nothing to do with saving mutant kind, but rather curing mutant kind. This is why she was so adamant about there not being any precogs on Krakoa. I would actually go so far as to say that with Destiny in particular, that was personal, due to Destiny ordering her death at the end of her third lifetime. Anyway, so Moira returns to her family estate, and it's raining because, well, Scotland. She coughs, however, and some coughing up blood. And starts to wonder that maybe it's not, maybe she doesn't have a cold, maybe it's something worse. There is a write-up, there's a long write-up from Destiny, basically kind of explaining that it feels very much like something that she just told to her wife, kind of a, hey, I need you to do, there's, okay, yeah, sure. Moira's not here on Krakoa, but she's still on the loose. We need, basically, track down Moira and kill her. Back on Krakoa at the Green Lagoon, Black Tom's having a drink, but something feels off. And he gets to, it's his connection via his plant-related mutations to Krakoa that's causing something to feel off. And yeah, there is something off. And an egg seemingly erupts from the ground at one spot. In New York, Moira is figuring out what's wrong. Has found out what's wrong. Stage 4 cancer. She's being seen by Dr. Jane Foster. This is actually an interesting thing to note. It's clear that Jane and Moira have history together. Not to the point of being, of butting heads. More just they know each other. And Jane is in fact aware of her close relationship with the X-Men. But of course, Moira demands petals. Sure, petals can't cure cancer, but they can slow it down. But a nurse Mystique has tracked down Moira to New York and impersonated a nurse at the hospital, and makes an attempt. And when Jane leaves the room, Mystique makes her move, and Jane returns, however, but not as Dr. Foster, rather as Valkyrie. And Moira leaps out a window while Mystique's shooting at her. Yeah. On Krakoa, the mysterious structure rise from the ground seemingly has Wolverine inside, who slices and basically gives Black Tom the oh god, it dices, and juliennes Black Tom fairly quickly. CIA headquarters, the X desk, is monitoring or catches traffic cam and facial recognition footage of Moira McTaggart, who is, in all honesty, believed dead. Even the mutants of Krakoa believe her to be dead for the most part. And so Dolores Ramirez, who oversees the X desk, basically just said, "Okay, well, send out a retrieval team. Got to find out why she's on the run." Moira, not being an idiot, in all honesty. She may be something of a villain now, but she's not an idiot. She knows that there are people likely keeping an eye on her. She steals some clothes, and also gets some hair dye, and some scissors, cuts her hair, bleaches it, and looks totally different that way. In Moira's no place, Wolverine, the Wolverine that seemingly just obliterated Black Tom, enters her no place and gets her scent. Moira's suspicions are concerned that yes, there are feds going after her. She sees the suits with the bulges under the sleeves, as well as the earpieces, and yeah. She goes into an Epiphany store, which Epiphany appears to be, I would say, Apple adjacent. Apparently they've got an technology they call the memory drive. It's an ocular implant that records everything you see and say. Automatic overnight uploads preserve one's history in our cloud storage. But so the feds catch up to Moira there and want to ask her some questions. She fights them off, even shooting one of them, and makes her escape, including stealing a motorcycle. It appears that the Arnab Chakladar, is the CEO of Epiphany Platforms, is going to be an important player in the course of this storyline. We get something of a write-up on him. Not so much a write-up, just kind of some quick bits of information. Research he's looked into: memory implants, artificial intelligence. Resources include, or residences include a home in Manhattan, Miami, Bainbridge Island, Paris, as well as 5 additional ones which aren't listed. It looks like one of them comes up as being south of San Francisco, 20,000 acres outside of Sequoia National Park, and there are signed NDAs from architects, contractors, interior designers, construction workers, etc., etc. We also have some listed public appearances in the next few days. On Krakoa, Xavier and Jean are facilitating Wolverine's mental time travel, but Jean senses someone entering. Someone who shouldn't be able to enter. It's Wolverine. And Wolverine seemingly charges the two of them, stating that he's no one and he was never there. Which is where the issue ends. So a few things. It's good to see the X-Books picking up on the Moira is an enemy plot thread so quickly. I honestly figured we'd get years without seeing Moira, and then she'd suddenly pop back up in the prominence with enter name of random anti-mutant bigot. Then I find it interesting, but I do find it interesting there seems to be some friendly past between Jane Foster and Moira McTaggart. The reason being, okay, yes, they're in similar fields. That said, their fields are both very large. The idea that they would just happen to know each other, it's, yeah, possible, but it's yeah. I mean, they're not in the same specific field. Moira's Moira's a geneticist, whereas Jane is a medical doctor. Yes, okay. Moira knows quite a bit about medicine, but it's like saying, yes, all doctors know each other. No, they don't. I'd say it's a lot more believable for a random. If someone showed up, if in the next issue of Iron Man we were introduced to a brand new character who had made his own suit of armor, and it turned out that they actually had met Tony Stark 5 years ago. That would actually make more sense. It's a much more specialized field and it's a much smaller field. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible, and in fact, to be fair, it's nice. It does give it gives the story connective tissue to the overall Marvel universe. Just like how pretty much any time there's a character that has to that has to face or go to court in the Marvel universe, they're represented either by Matt Murdock or Jennifer Walters, because Matt Murdock and Jennifer Walters are known as lawyers. So yes, obviously, that's who's going to. They will. It's an easy way to make a court scene more interesting. But yeah, it still just feels a little. It's a big world, but yeah. It is. I think this is also the first time I've seen Jane Foster's Valkyrie as Jane Foster appeared as Valkyrie in a while, because I don't recall her having taken on Valkyrie up during the Donald Blake story in Thor. I could be mistaken, and it just slipped my mind, but still, it feels like it's been a while. So it's nice to see that that's still a thing. But anyway, that is going to do it for now. We'll be back next week, I believe, with 10 Lives number 2, which we might actually be looking at a variant cover too as well. So fingers crossed there, everybody. Anyway, like I said, that'll do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying, live long and rock hard.